I want to thank you all for leaving all your comments under the videos that you do. Well, I thank you for watching the videos to start with, but clearly some of you are sticking around long enough to watch it all and then form an opinion and write underneath. I do appreciate it. I do read them all. And a lot of the time I get the ideas for the next day's video from the comments, which is exactly what's happened today, because it's something that's been buzzing around in my mind for a little while, and then someone's actually just outright asked it. So I thought, you know what, it's worth a discussion. The comment is from Truth Baxter. I'm pretty sure that's not his name, his real name, Truth. The irony of somebody that's called themselves Truth lying about their first name. I would have gone with Truth Fairy, maybe, or something like that. But anyway, we do appreciate your comments. Before I put that one up, by the way, someone's called me Shirley in the comments. It's an old gag from Airplane, but don't call me Shirley. But actually, before I get cracking, if you want to support, sponsor, and help Hammers Chat out, you can join our Patreon page. It's a subscription. You get a little bit more material, some exclusive footage, not footage, some exclusive videos, entry into competitions, and the warm, glowing feeling that you're helping Hammers Chat out. That's our Patreon. It's from as little as £2.80 a month. The link is in the description below. Thank you for that. Right, so it's just Shirley and you lovely subscribers now. Truth Baxter, he says, when football returns, do you think the players will be rushing to China for big money? I would have gone, do you think the players will be rushing to China for big... It doesn't really work, does it? Good shout, though. So if we water that question down and condense it a little bit, does Arnie regret doing a number on West Ham? I think he probably does. Has the additional revenue that Arnautovic has generated for himself and his brother Daniel, of course, because Arnautovic never did anything wrong, it was all his brother Daniel. Has the extra revenue, have the extra riches made it worth it? Was it worth the risk? Now, I guess he's as far as I know, he's fighting fit and he didn't catch the old lurgy at all, and he's fine. But does it make it less attractive to work there? I think if he had his time again, would he still be at West Ham? I think yes. I think he would. He actually put out a tweet the other day, or was it an Instagram post or something like that? And he was getting some stick, and he said it was from the West Ham fans, and he was saying West Ham fans should know this stuff doesn't bother me. Well, it does, Arnie. It does, because he said from his history that it wouldn't bother him. Do you remember when we went and played Stoke? He was giving it the large one to the Stoke dugout, and the Stoke fans giving it all not so much of that. But it does annoy him. These comments do get to him. I just wonder if he does regret moving there for. Look, he was already on over 100 grand a week. It was 125 grand a week. Does he regret moving over there? I'd imagine so. The additional riches were probably not worth the risk, but he's not on his own. So anyway, so I had a little look, because it's often been the mercenary thing to do, hasn't it? To move to China and earn lots of money and then move away. And I think it's a way of making yourself secure for the rest of your life. You should be anyway. Let's be fair. If you're on 50 to 100 grand a week, you should be able to make yourself secure for the rest of your life anyway. But I guess it's that difference between secure for the rest of your life and driving the latest Lamborghini every year for the rest of your life. It's complete riches that are on offer if you go over there. And of course, China had to do something to entice people to the Chinese Super League, which it's not going to be attractive. You don't grow up as a youngster hoping to win the League Cup for Shanghai because your dad used to work on the turnstiles. That's not going to happen, right? For obviously the European players and Brazilian players that go over there. So I pulled up a little list of players that have moved over there, just to show you how prevalent it was and how attractive it was. I mean, the first one was Gervinho, if you remember him. This is the first one on the list, not the first one to move over there. Gervinho, remember him? He played for Arsenal. Massive forehead. Hair right back. A bigger forehead than me. Maybe not. Maybe a similar size one. But anyway, he went over there. He went over to China. He went to Roma first, and he went to Hebei China, Fortune. And it didn't last long, though. He only played 29 games, scored 4 times before heading back. Now, he went to Parma. But isn't that funny? Because the amount of times you see these players go over there, so clearly they're going to a lesser standard of football, Yet they still 4 goals. It shows he just wasn't settled. He should have been the best player in the league, or something like it. One of the very, very best. But it's amazing how often they don't do that. They don't quite acclimatise. So if it just goes to show, if you're not happy up there and in there, then you're not going to produce your best form on the pitch. Paulinho, of course, went over there. He was at Tottenham. He went to Gonzo Evergrande. Oh, I'm going to get slaughtered for not saying that. He did very poorly again. No, he didn't. He didn't. Sorry, I'm reading the other one. He contributed to 57 goals with the Chinese Giants winning back-to-back league titles. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Paulinho, you did well. I'll give you that one. Carlos Tevez, our own Carlos Tevez, spent a solitary year with Shanghai Greenland. Well, that's a funny name for a club. Anyway, there we go. He won the Chinese Cup, which is what it was all about, wasn't it? Of course, for Carlos, winning the Chinese Cup. That's what he wanted to do. 9 goals in 20 games. He was brilliant, Tevez. Tevez was brilliant for us. He was brilliant for Man United. He was brilliant for Manchester City. Why? Because Carlos Tevez is a brilliant player. But it just goes to show 9 goals in 20 games. You would expect him once again to be the best player out there. Clearly, he didn't settle. But you remember when he was at West Ham, he had the full entourage with him. He never quite settled. I mean, there was a little bit, was it right? He had a child, and then the child got taken back to Argentina, and there was some sort of custody battle going on. Maybe I've got that wrong, but he was never settled, even over here. So I do wonder, that would have been a tough one for Carlos going over there. Asamoah Gyan, he moved there for 10 million. Do you remember him? He was at Sunderland, signed for big money. Again, he was meant to be one of the best players in the world. And he basically went public because he had financial issues. He was claimed that he wasn't being paid by his club. He said he had 600 quid in the bank. Well, that's a bad one, isn't it? I mean, let's be fair. If you're minted and you're getting loads of money, which he had done, right? He was a world star, African Footballer of the Year, big money at Sunderland. That's half the reason Sunderland got crippled. They paid more than they could afford. I'm sure everyone's watched the Sunderland documentary on Netflix. But to do that, to sell your soul and then go to a country, not enjoy yourself and end up with 600 quid in the bank, I mean, it's one thing failing at the thing you choose to do. It's another thing entirely failing at the thing you're reluctantly doing just for money. Jeremy Mikel moved over there as well. Again, he just made 31 appearances. He's at Middlesbrough. Do you know he's at Middlesbrough? I didn't know he was at Middlesbrough. There we go. We learn something every day. Ramirez, good player. Good player, wasn't he? Again, played for Chelsea. He's still there. But here's the story. He wanted to go and play for Benfica. He was trying to force for a move to Benfica. So they put him in the reserves. I mean, how bad is that you go out to China and you end up in the reserves? Not only you got a massive language barrier, you got everything else. You don't even get the glory, the associated glory. There you go. Hulk moved out there. Not the green one, the other one. Big money. Big money. He was one of the first ones to jump on the bandwagon there. He joined Shanghai for 45 million. 320 grand a week. He scored 94 goals in 87 games, and that is what you expect. That's what you expect a world-class player to do, to go over and rip it up. They won their first ever league title. He stayed there for quite a long time. Okay, I mean, someone like him would probably look at it and think that was a successful jaunt. Oscar was probably, I thought, the most famous. They paid Chelsea, Shanghai did, 60 million for Oscar. The generally composed midfielder was handed an 8-match ban in 2017 after sparking a 50-man brawl. He kicked it off. He started it by kicking the ball in the face of one of the opposition players twice. One for luck, obviously. And there you have it. A list of players that went to China for the riches. Some were successful. Some like poor Ramirez, who found themselves in reserves, and even poorer, Asamoah Gyan, who went there to become a millionaire and came back with 600 quid. That's a shopping spree. But even Mrs. Gonzo couldn't do that. I'm telling you. Maybe she could. But the point of the matter is, has this killed it? Right. The fact that the virus came from over there. I think SARS did as well. Was it? Avian flu? I think it was either avian flu or swine flu. Whatever. You're looking at it now and you're thinking, well, hold on a second. Would I accept? What are you going to take? 50 grand a week to play in England? Or are you going to take the risk, 150 grand a week, which you might not get paid, by the way, to go to China? I think this has done it. This has done it for the Chinese dream, the Chinese experiment, and for many respects, the Chinese Super League, which they wanted. The whole point of China to do it was for the Chinese Super League to become a global force, was for the Chinese Super League to get some exposure, get the best Brazilian players, get the best players from the Premier League, from the Liga, over here, showcase their league and show what a good job they can do. I've got to be honest with you. I think if I'm a footballer now and my agent comes to me with 3 offers on the table and one of them's China, I think I'm saying no.